How's it going, gentlemen? This is Scott McKay from X and Y Communications. It's time to fire up another video newsletter. Today I want to talk to you about something that kind of surrounds a topic you've heard about before, and that's having an exciting life and having women really appreciate that and in fact be turned on by that. But I want to add a little bit of a twist to it that's unusual, I think, that nobody really has ever talked about, and that's why it works. Why, when you get an exciting hobby or have something exciting going on in your life, do women suddenly really, become kind of compelled to like you, to be attracted to you? Is it a decision? Is it a choice, like David D'Angelo would say? Well, of course it isn't. They're either going to be made horny by you, they're going to be turned on by you, or they're just not going to feel it. They're going to see you as, well, just a friend. What's going on there? Well, let's talk about, first of all, some of the things you might do that would cause a woman to think that you have an exciting life. The first thing you could do might be, well, like an extreme sport. Like you could be a surfer, or you could be you could be a guy who rides fast motorcycles like my buddies and I used to be. Why did that work? Well, because what you're doing is you are taking on something that's potentially dangerous, something that could hurt you very badly, and you're showing mastery over it. If you're riding motorcycles fast, well, then you can go out there and you can ride the motorcycle, you can take the turn, you can drag your knee on the ground, you can come back, put on the brakes, take your helmet off, and you don't have a scratch on you. And if you're surfing, you can go out there and you can ride big waves, you can not drown, you can not have a shark eat you. And then when you get on the beach and you kind of just towel off and kind of tousle your hair and go, wow, man, that was really cool, the women are going to be like, man, he just went over there and got in the ocean, mastered these waves, came out and, not a scratch on him, no problem. What does that say about you as a person? That says that you are confident that you can master something that is potentially dangerous and come out safe and sound. That means to a woman that you are a guy who foments safety and security. You can take something potentially kind of at a fever pitch, something that's going to potentially be dangerous, and you can make it all right. And it just somehow gets inside her head and says to her, man, this guy, if the chips were down and something theoretically dangerous was going to happen that involved me, I think he could probably make it all right. I think he'd have it handled. Think about this for a second. Men in uniform, guys who are firemen, guys who are policemen, guys who are soldiers, you'll hear women say, man, I wouldn't want to be married to one of those guys because, they could widow me, they could die in action. But boy, do those guys make women hot. So on one side of their brain, women are thinking, oh, you know what, I'd be on pins and needles if I were in a relationship with this guy. But on the other side of their brain, they're saying, but boy, there's just something about that guy that makes me hot. Now, see how that all works? You see, they can't even explain it, but it's there. It's what's going on. There's something about you that's masculine when you're a guy who has some excitement that you can master going on in your life, and it really translates to attraction in women, and it's sexual attraction. Now, do you have to be a guy who puts himself in harm's way to get this done? Not at all. All you have to be is a guy who has something exciting going on to her, and you have to show mastery over it. Think about salsa dancing, for example. No one's going to die out there on the dance floor. But women love men who can dance because men who are good dancers are also good leaders. A woman wants to be led by a guy on a dance floor, right? Well, in salsa, that's a very sensual form of dancing, so not only can you show her that you lead, but there's that excitement. There's that visceral feeling that goes on when you're salsa dancing that is, yes, exciting. You're not a couch potato by any stretch. You're out there doing something, and that something is every bit as exciting. And even, it might even feel a little bit dangerous to a woman when she's out there dancing with you as if you were doing some kind of extreme sport or something. Now, having heard everything that we've talked about so far, think about this added layer that's going to make it even more interesting. What happens, say, if you are a guy who rides a fast motorcycle, if you are a guy who's a salsa dancer, and all of a sudden you bring the woman in and literally take her along for the ride, if you're the motorcycle guy? Well, Back when I lived in Arizona and I had a little pack of guys who rode with me, and we all had motorcycles that had like 150 horsepower, women would come along and they'd want to ride. So we'd put them on the back of the bike, and we'd rev the engine so their butt would tickle. They'd have to lift it off the seat a little bit, and we'd go off and we'd give them a taste of what this action is like. Now remember, the woman is already feeling, hey, here's a guy who can handle that motorcycle. He's got something exciting going on. But now she's physically become part of the whole act of participating in that extreme, fun, exciting thing. And what does that do? It brings all the physical pieces of arousal to the surface. So literally, when she gets off that motorcycle, having ridden with you or I or anybody else who gives her that ride, she's not only feeling in here and thinking in here that you're pretty attractive, she's feeling all over that tingle that says, man, I am just flat out horny for this guy. And similarly, when you take her on the dance floor and you dance salsa with her, it's going to be in the moment and she's going to start getting excited for you. It's pretty interesting how that all works, and it's a little bit different. Actually, it's a lot different than how attraction works for us as guys, right? But very powerful. And now that you have that idea in your head of how this progression goes, first she sees you as having an exciting life, and then, if you can draw her in, if it's something that's, makes it available to you to be able to draw her in, whether it's salsa dancing, motorcycle riding, even if you're a lacrosse player, or you like to ride mountain bikes and you take her along with you, all of that stuff works. A lot of guys say, hey, I can even take a woman out adventure hiking and chasing lizards in a canyon somewhere, and when we get back, she's excited sexually. She wants to have a go at it. And so what we're talking about here is taking that thought process, that kind of cognitive attraction, that feeling that she likes you, layering on the physical part, and man, it just skyrockets from there. This is Scott McKay from X and Y Communications. Be good out there, guys, until I talk to you next time.